grinders. Welcome to another episode of Grind Tide. I'm J-Dub, I'm your host. Glad that we're together on a Wednesday. Fired up, really excited today to be able to kind of discuss something that I think is really valuable for a lot of people, right? Not everybody is in their first 90 days, but everybody is in a 90-day cycle somewhere. How in the world do I manage? Some people ask, Jeremy, there's all this stuff kind of going on when you first get started. You got your license, now you got to get figured out and appointed with the different carriers, and you got to figure out how to get in front of people and learning and scripts and training and how do I need to spend my time in my first 90 days, my first 6 months, especially important for those, a lot of people coming out of a W-2 kind of lifestyle, have been working, punching that clock. You always had a schedule that was mapped out before you got there. You knew what time you were going to clock in. You knew what time you were going to take a lunch break. You knew what time you were going to get off. And it was about the same every time. And now this is all new. Feels like it's all on you. Maybe you're part-time and you're doing this thing with a little bit of your time and you've still got a full-time job. Maybe we're able to go completely full-time from the get-go and you've got all this time, but how do I manage it, right? I said in a previous video before that part of the struggle of working for yourself is working for yourself, right? And having complete control of your schedule, of your time, the places that you want to go. I am going to be discussing what I think is probably the best way, the better ways to spend your time when you're first getting started. But before that, let me remind you, if you hadn't already, if it's your first time looking at us, go ahead and subscribe. We're going to be putting out great content every single Wednesday coming out to you. We want to wake up on a Wednesday on fire, ready to go, ready to crush the rest of our week. This is the midway point. It's the midway point, and I can't wait to see what your week turns out. And I can't wait to see what really this week turns out for myself as well. So glad to be locking arms with you together, running together in this race to build our own dreams, to build our own financial futures, to help other people along the way, to be able to impact the most amount of families, to be able to change really the world around us. And that's what we get the opportunity to do. Do not take that for granted. If you hadn't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell. Get the alerts. Make sure you know when we've got new stuff coming out. Love to hang out with you every single Wednesday. And by all means, share it. Share it with your team. Share it with the people that are just getting started, that you know that this would be some help for, because I know it's going to help me. I know it's going to help you. Let's get started. And so in the very beginning, there again, a lot of new stuff. Sometimes it's like I'm drinking from a fire hydrant, so to speak. There's a lot going on, a lot that I don't know, and really understand that I don't know what I don't know. And that could be scary. It could be challenging, especially for those who like to be really prepared. And there's a balance to it, because I believe that there's an issue with people who don't prepare at all, who go in without any sort of a plan and without any bit of training and decide that, hey, I'm just going to wing it, so to speak. I think that's a dangerous place to be in for too long, especially. Don't get me wrong. I'd rather have that over somebody who never really gets started because they are over-prepared, over-trained. They know everything about everything, but they've never made a sale, they never made any money, therefore they never were really in business, and they never got a chance to truly impact the families that we serve and we work with. And so I believe there's a balance, and that's the first thing that I really want to cover and talk about, because I believe that the training, the prep, all of that stuff has to be there. But what amount of time should I spend actually training and getting ready and versus actually doing the business and working the mechanics and things of that nature? So let's get into it. I think the training, there again, first, it's got to be there. I should be learning. I should be getting better. I should be moving the needle. but it shouldn't be with all of my time. I would call that maybe 12, maybe 10% of the time, my overall day that I should be spending actually doing that kind of training, that kind of work. Really no more than an hour and a half in my day. Should I be going through reworking on my script and doing that kind of thing, but also looking at a product, looking at XYZ company and deciding, hey, let's look at their term life product and kind of how it works, and if there's anything in your state specifically that you need to know, and all that stuff. You've got to get better. You've got to be more versed at that so you can help people and you can help solve their problems in the best way for them. But hour and a half, and that's in each of your days, right? That's in every day. And if I can get up and I can take me hour and a half, and that you may condense that to 30 minutes after your first 90 days, but if it's going to take me an hour and a half to work on the skill set, to work on the practical stuff, then that's going to be more than enough. The rest of your time should really be spent doing really some of the more ideal stuff. Like, let's talk about the bulk of that time. The bulk of the time, if I'm doing anything that I think is the most important, I'm going to say the activity. I'm going to take precedence. It's about 50% of the time that I need to be doing. But let's back up. Let's make sure that we get the most important is. The most important is going to be the mindset. It's going to be getting you ready, you prepped, making sure that you're able to be emotionally intelligent enough to be able to be in front of a client, thinking about their situation, because you've already worked out the things on yourself. You're already, gotten a sort of a direction for your own life, until you're not trying to figure that out while you're with the client. You're not there for yourself. You're there for the client themselves. Got to be growing as people. I want to be moving the needle on my own life, be getting better at my craft, be getting better personally, developing myself. And so those are two things I need to do. I mean, do a little bit of learning, right, every single day. I need to spend as much time, hour and a half, actually working on me, the things that make me better, and growing, as a person, as an individual, on a leveling up on a daily basis, right? The outside of booking appointments and sitting with clients is going to be the next biggest categories, and really they're going to occupy the most of your time in the very, very beginning, right? And so I'm going to be booking appointments with about 25% of that time on a daily basis, right? So I need to get started, I need to get on the phone and get me some business on. If I'm dialing this morning for later on this evening, or for tomorrow morning, or vice versa. If I'm dialing the evening for tomorrow morning, or later on, or tomorrow evening, right? And so I need to make sure that I'm always creating a funnel, a pipeline of activity. I need to stay in front of people, and that's what the booking appointments. And I need to be running appointments, sitting with people, actually giving myself a chance to help them to solve the problems that they face on a day-in, day-out basis, what their concerns are, making sure that I'm able to stay, there again, in business, right? Creating revenue for the business itself, and for obviously your families and all of that good stuff. And I can't do that without helping people, so I've got to be sitting down with people with a lot of this time, right? So what's that leave time for? Well, I think a lot of people miss this in the very beginning. I was really, really bad at. One of the things that I think is one of the foundational, kind of places that you should be spending your time in the very beginning is making sure that you've mapped out time to actually get business issued. So I should be working on pending business on a daily basis. A lot of times it's one phone call, right? And you're able to say, hey, what's this thing working on? Hey, we just need the signature there. Great. And you can make sure that you get that signature back over there to them. Took 10, 15 minutes, and something that has been pending a lot of times for days, 15 minutes later, it is issued. That client is actually getting the protection that they sought after. And there again, you're generating revenue. Okay. The other place should be in appointment prep, right? Huge to make sure that I am actually prepping so that I know what this person is qualified for based on the information that I uncovered in this appointment setting process that time that I spent doing the client qualification form, or however I'm looking at their financial information or looking at their health information, should be checking out my agent guides, should be doing the risk assessments. That's the time that I'm prepping to make sure that I'm prepared to help this client to solve the problem in the best way possible, right? The other huge chunk of time there, it's about 30% of your time, right? It's about 8 hours in your day that I should be spending doing the things that make me, get myself better. So obviously I'm going to be sleeping with some of that time, right? But I'm also going to be spending time with the family. I'm also going to be doing those other things with that big chunk of time. And this is understanding that this wheel here is in a 90-day cycle. Right, like this whole circle here is what we're talking about, is in your first 90 days, that it's going to take some time, it's going to take some energy, it's going to take a little bit more to be able to get yourself up off the ground, and it's going to be worth it. You're going to work on yourself, you're going to be studying, you're going to be working, you're going to be studying, you're going to be working. It's going to feel like, man, I'm stretching myself, but you're getting better. In 90 days from now, you're going to be able to tell a complete difference in your business and the way that your life is in your bank account from deciding that I'm committed to spending time as much as it takes to really go out and create the story that I need to create. And then I'm going to be able to collapse some of that time. Then I'm going to be able to take, instead of spending so much time booking appointments, I'm going to be able to collapse some of that time because I'm better on the phone, because I've got a bigger lead budget and I'm working fresher leads, or whatever that improvement becomes, because you're getting better, because you're putting in the time, you're studying, you're doing prep on your appointments, so you're able to identify what a person qualifies for a lot easier. The time will condense. You will have more in this me column over time. Make sure you have something in it now and grow that as your skill level grows. Listen, I'm so glad that you got a chance to be a part of this thing with me, that I get a chance to be in this same industry with you. I pray you have big success this week. Go out and impact as many people as possible. I'll see you on the next episode.